All right. So, Derek, explain to me and all the people what this monstrosity of cardboard is.
This is the best version of Infernity that will have been legal since 2014. This is Gazelle slash Chimera Infernity. And it's literally the second coming of the Valval chain.
This, okay, all right, okay. Explain,
And I'm not.
explain. Please go
Okay,
into depth.
okay, so I bet I don't have to explain what the illusion cards right now do. Mirror Swordsman is a quick effect lone fire. This guy adds you the Chimera fusion and can float. This is just this card to search.
Right.
What we actually care about here is the new fusion that's gonna come out in Age of Overlord. This is a foolish burial for any beast, illusion, or fiend monster.
Okay, so you
It's
just get to
all-
dump whichever Infernity card you want to the grave when it's summoned, essentially.
Yeah, so the main combo is gonna be as follows. You need Chimera Fusion and enough materials to make 2 Baphomet. Because it's a 6, and you send Harris and Stygian Street Patrol to the grave, so you add Archfiend and you get to special summon Archfiend.
Okay.
And that is full combo. Now, why specifically this for that? Because by nature of fusing away cards from the hand, you empty your hand of monsters. One of Infernity's biggest issues is that it can't be playing monster non-engine, at least not a big quantity of them. Because if you play a lot of monsters, chances are you're not going to be able to empty your hand to combo off.
Mm-hmm.
Baphomet being just 2 beast, fiend, and or illusion monsters with different types allows you to be playing fiend non-engine, like Radiant, like Skullmeister. These are not amazing cards, but they are hand traps and a kaiju that Infernity can be playing, which the deck otherwise couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the most consistent combo version of Infernity by nature of just needing any way to 2 mills. You be playing Void Apocalypse because it's just Dark Grapher as a spell. And the typical end board will be a Apollosa for 3 or 4, Dispater, which will be live, Barone, and your back row, which is 1 break, 1 barrier, or in Unchained format, probably 2 barrier because break is useless in that matchup. The second strength of this is that you have the highest amount of non-engine space of any Infernity build since the modern era. You get to be playing, that's 2 Kaijus, 2 Lightning Storms, 2 Triple Tactics, 3 Droplets, which is already 9 non-engine, and 3 Imperm, which makes it 12 non-engine. 12 non-engine is above average for a deck, at least for like the rogue sector. Like the best decks get to play absurd amounts, but 12 is really fucking good. So you don't lose any of the endboard potential. You get to play a lot of non-engine cards to pop off even while going second. Like you get to play power staples that help you break boards, that allow you to get the board state in a such simplified state that you can play Infernity stuff.
All right. So take me through the card by card, and like if you want, just go through like the individual, like why you chose this card, why it's that many, you know.
Okay, Radiant. This specific kaiju because it's a fiend, so you can fuse it away. 2 because honestly, I just play 2 kaijus in everything. It feels right to me. You never want to see too many because They are great board breakers, but breaking on multiple sucks. Like, sucks balls.
Is there any reason to play?
Mirror
So is there any reason to play Radiant over, like Lava Golem? Do you need your normal summon like that much in this deck? Yeah, you do, because you need a normal
Yes.
Mirror Sword Knight, right? Yeah.
Yes, you need to normal summon Gazelle or Mirror Sword, so you can't play Lava Golem,
Okay.
even though on paper it would be better. Next, Mirror Sword.
Does Lava
This
Golem
is
take up your does Lava Golem actually take up your normal summon?
It does, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Yes.
just play Volcanic Queen.
Same thing.
it.
Oh,
It also does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a
so
Pyro.
I can't play Volcanic. Yeah, so the theory for Radiant is that it's a fiend that you can fuse away, so it
Oh.
isn't awful to draw if you just go first. Mirror Sword is just 3 more copies of Gazelle.
Oh, so you should play
That-
Radiant then, right? That's
Yeah,
probably
so
the
he's
I
on
am
Radiant.
on Radiant.
one. Okay.
Mirror Swordsman is literally just 3 more copies of Gazelle. Gazelle is your main. Like, you need Gazelle to resolve, so you need Mirror Swordsman.
Mhm.
Archfiend. It's at 1. You play 1, yeah. It's the heart and soul of the deck.
Yeah. If it came to 3, would you play 2, 3, or just still on 1?
Possibly play it at 3. Because you can get it out of hand with this version very easily. The issue with that is that you then have to do cross ship lines, which are a bit more awkward than the double mill lines.
Okay. Okay.
You could be probably playing more by then because it's... But you don't want to go too high with monsters, so you probably stay at 1.
Okay.
Stygian...
Yeah, or you
You
just play like
don't-
the all important 2 copies.
Alright.
Stygian, I play this card because it's necessary for the combo. You mill it and Harris, and then you banish it to summon the Archfiend you search. For that reason, you only play 1, because if they stop that Archfiend, you lose.
Alright. Then we got 3 Gazelle.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
3 Gazelle, you need... Yes. You
Yes.
You need Gazelle to resolve because you need Chimera Fusion to play. So you need to max out your ways to Chimera Fusion, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Patriarch. You only play 1 because it's an Infernity card. It's a level 4 extender for free. You use it to go into Dugaris to extend with Archfiend to a position where you can grab Launcher, link away Archfiend, and go from there. Coulter is 3 more copies of Gazelle. You need to max out on it. The negates that Mirror Sword and Coulter have occasionally come up. They don't really add to resilience except for Coulter because it protects you from targeting. So like Imperm target, so it protects you from that, for example.
Imperm, Baylor,
Harris,
Ghostwalker, yeah. Archfiend Harris. I've never seen this card before. Please explain this card.
Okay, this is an Infernity staple for a long time. If this card is sent to the graveyard from a card effect or being destroyed by battle, this never comes out. The second part, you can add 1 Archfiend card from your deck to your hand. Infernity Archfiend
is an Archfiend.
Is in fact an Archfiend.
Okay, alright, that makes sense.
So the idea is you send Harris to the graveyard, get Archfiend to hand, then the Stygian can summon Archfiend from hand.
Yo, by the way, I'm just saying, you could also search Summon Skull with that.
Sure. Anyways, what's next? We got the 2 Infernity Necromancer, yeah.
Yeah, with Sage being the new best tuner of the deck, which is a 2, you need to play 2 Necromancers for your 100 Ice loops, because you cannot do 100 Ice Revive, Necromancer, Avenger, bring back Archfiend anymore. So you need to play 2 Necromancer to get the same value.
Alright.
Sage is absurd. This is a level 2 tuner that just sends a Infernity monster from your deck to the graveyard. this is really good to make setups easier because you don't have to summon the second Necromancer. You can just dump it and
Yeah.
then revive double Necromancer later down the line.
So is this an older card? Is this a newer card? What is it?
That's an older. It's a
This is
pretty
one
old
of
card.
Okay. So I don't know hardly
It's
any
not-
of the Infernity
it's not
cards.
old.
Right.
I know what Necromancer does.
Infernity Sage is one of the newest support cards. It came out in the... Oh god, did it come out in the Animation Chronicle? It probably did.
No, I thought it came out a while ago.
It did come out a while ago, but like it's one of the last waves of support. It's
Yeah,
it's from the
Okay.
Oh, it's from Battles of Legends. It's from Battles of Legends, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right. So
Um
it has a pretty
anyways,
crazy
this is a
effect.
two-
Yeah.
It has an insane effect. It's a level 2 tuner, which allows you to upgrade your synchro pool from the mediocre 8 synchro pool into the absurd 10 synchro pool that we have currently.
Right. And then it's just
Uh,
also dumb
Mirage?
for yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, Mirage. Mirage is necessary for the 100 dice loops. You banish it to turn 100 dice into what is a second launcher. And with this Bader, you can summon him back to do it again.
Okay. So then we've got
You play one of him
yeah.
because you have to.
Right. And then we've
Yeah,
got
No
the
more,
newest
no
Infernity
less.
card, as far as I'm aware, which is this guy, this creepy little
Yes,
punk.
this is the Yes, we got Return of the Reaper, which is the best Infernity card that has been printed in... Oh god, it's probably the best card that has been printed for this deck since The Shining Darkness.
It's probably the best card printed for Infernity since Archfiend and Launcher. Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure it's the best card printed in Infernity ever since it became an archetype.
So let's read the text here, right? Special summon one Infernity monster that's banished or in your hand or graveyard. So it just gets any Infernity from anywhere as long as it's not in deck. If a face-up Infernity monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while this is in your graveyard, set this card, and then you can only use each effect once per turn. Yeah, so it is a hard once per turn on both effects.
Yes,
but it's
a
so
hard
crazy.
one per turn, but this card's fucking insane.
Yeah, it just lets you
So-
recycle every Archfiend. It just all one of them.
From everywhere.
Yeah,
The
all
DD
one of them from anywhere.
The DD Crow does in fact not beat this deck anymore.
That's hilarious. All right, anyway, Derek, keep
So-
going. Keep going.
So there's a lot of reasons why this card is as insane as it is. For one, it allows you to actually play through Dimension Shifter to an extent, because the banished Archfiend can just be summoned back, and you can then either grab this creepy little punk, which I don't like that name. I'm gonna continue calling it Return of the Reaper. Or you grab a barrier, and then you can still establish some form of a board through Shifter. That's the best aspect of it. The next best aspect of it is that it essentially becomes a second launcher if you banish Mirage.
Okay.
Because Mirage cannot be summoned from the grave, but it can be summoned from the banished
Banished
pile.
zone. Yeah.
So, by getting it to the banished zone, you can use this creepy little punk as a second launcher. And now the third aspect that makes this card really insane is that it can summon from hand, so it can unbreak Infernity cards from your hand.
Because as we
Which
know,
is really
Infernity is
valuable.
not the most consistent deck in history.
Yo, what are you talking about? Just set those monsters like they're crystal beads.
Anyways.
All our monsters are pendulum monsters if we believe hard enough.
Anyways, and the final part is that it gives Infernity a semblance of a grind game, which means that if the opponent somehow has God on their side and manages to break an Infernity board, you have a resource that is recursive every turn, because you can every turn get the Reaper, bring back Necromancer, bring back Archfiend, add a card if you still have some in your deck, and go from there.
Alright, so then we just got some staples. We got 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Tactics, 1 Foolish, and 3 Droplet. These are just like generic staples, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a reason we specifically go for these spell and trap staples, and as you might have guessed, it's because we don't want to have too many monsters in our hand, because if we have too many monsters in our hand, we cannot activate Archfiend.
Yeah, so those are fair.
Also, these are like power staples that can board break, which makes it less painful to go second, because Infernity is not resilient. So you kind of need to have these power cards that break boards on their own to be able to play going second.
Alright, so next we got the 3 Chimera Fusion. So what are your normal sends off Chimera Fusion?
So Chimera Fusion is literally just... So you will always be sending 1 Gazelle and either a Fiend or an Illusion. It doesn't matter what you fuse away, because you just want to be able to go into him and empty your hand. Now this card is Lavable Chain.
Essentially, for this deck specifically, right?
Yeah.
For illusions.
And for beasts, yeah.
For beasts.
Which is pretty good.
It's a level 6 monster that is easy. It's also a 6, which means that because you can add back Chimera Fusion once, you can make a second one and go into Beatrice, which does get you to your 2 mills that you need to have full Infernity combo.
Right, and then Beatrice can just dump whatever you want after that, right? Or is the dump once per turn?
If you don't see this card, you are probably losing.
That's fair. All right, so next you got...
You're playing 12.
If you don't see Chimera Fusion, you're just playing actual Infernity, so that's why you need to see Chimera Fusion.
Yeah. So then we've got 3, you said Void Imagination?
Once per turn.
Yeah.
But you can just stick it on, like you... Yes, exactly.
Wait, Derek, I think you just like
Void
died
Apocalypse. This is Dark Grapher.
Yeah, so we got Void Imagination. Void Imagination, you mentioned before, is just Dark Grepher, but a spell. So.
Wait, do we not play Dark Grepher in this deck too? Isn't Arch? Oh wait, no, Archery's a light, right?
No, it's a dark, but.
Was it? Wait, no, are we not playing Dark Grepher?
We're not playing Dark Grapher because it's a warrior, so we can't fuse it away. And it's a conflicting normal summon with Gazelle. And we will always normal summon with you.
That's fair.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
We play Void Apocalypse because it is basically Dark Grapher. But we can set it, so it's better for this deck specifically than Dark Grapher.
So, then we've got the 1 lawn chair.
The lawn chair.
The lawn chair, yeah.
It's great by now, by the way, same with Archfiend, but we can get everything with it.
Alright, so then we got 3 Imperm, 1 Break, and 1 Barrier. Everybody knows Imperm. Break is just, I think, it's Raigeki Break for Infernities, and Barrier is an Omni, right?
Yeah, so Raigeki Break banishes a Infernity name from your grave and pop 1 card your opponent controls. In this format, like, if Unchained sticks around post Aja, which it will because the ban has very recently happened, you cut the break and instead play a second barrier, because break does nothing into Unchained.
That's fair. So then the extra deck, I mean, we can kind of see it here, and you already talked about it. So we got 2 of the new Berfament cards. Berfament, the Phantom Beast Dark Ruler. 1 Dissipator, 1 Baron, 2 100 Eyes Dragons. Everybody knows Dissipator and Baron. Explain 100 Eyes Dragon for people like me who just started playing in the year of our Lord 2020.
Oh,
Okay,
you
so
don't.
this card is terrifying.
Oh, that
It
card should be
banishes
banned.
it banishes a level 6 or lower dark effect monster from the graveyard,
Hmm.
and it copies that monster's effect.
Okay.
For example, you banish Mirage.
Yo,
100
100
Eyes
Eyes
Dragon
Dragon should
now
be
is
banned. That card should have been banned a while ago. Like graveyard, just like graveyard, like that are really, really disgustingly OP.
Yeah. So
the
what's
good. The, so the reason you play 2 is you banish Mirage, which allows you to bring back your 2 Necromancers. One Necromancer brings back the Sage, the other brings back the Archfiend, which searches then. Your Necromancers and Sage go for the second 100 Eyes. This 100 Eyes will banish a Necromancer to bring back the Sage.
Mhm.
You can then synchro summon this Spader because 100 Eyes is a dragon.
Of course.
You can then bring back the Mirage, and you tribute the Mirage to bring back Patriarch and Sage to go into Barone.
Okay.
So
Alright.
you just 100 Eyes equals this Spader Barone.
All right, that seems pretty good. All right, so then we have Beatrice. Beatrice is Beatrice Dugaris,
Yes.
Baguska, double Saryuja. Are these placeholders, or are you actually making both Saryuja?
You usually make both. You need at least one. You could probably get away with one. The reason you play 2 is because it summons from hand, so it helps you unbrick hand
Mhm.
that you fuck up during combos. Like it increases the leeway for error, because if you accidentally put one monster too much in your hand, you can make a second Saryuja, get it out of there, continue playing. You also just have so much spare material from the Art Infernity core that
It kind of
you
has to
kind
go
of
somewhere.
you kind of just have to put it somewhere, and it's the best link for
That's fair.
that.
So then we got one Zelantis, one Appaloosa. You kind of mentioned Appaloosa is part of the end board. Is there
Yeah.
like a function to Zelantis? Is it like part of the combo? Or is it just like a
Oh
good
yeah,
card?
Stellantis in this deck is insane. So people know Stellantis from like Marinta, which makes Stellantis under the waterlock to banish your board and not return it.
Mhm.
Infernity uses it to reset their soft once per turn. So
Okay.
so when you make Stellantis, you get your Archfiend to search again, and your Necromancer can revive again. So because you can make it over Sayuja for no effort, it's just a launcher basically.
Okay. All right. So we talked about that. Let's see, what is it? The Nightmare Cerberus. That's what that card is. Is that just kind of like a staple? Because we already talked about Cross Sheep. You make Cross Sheep so you can keep looping Archfiend and Necromancer. But what's the point of the Cerberus? Anything?
The Cerberus really is just one of the easiest to make Link 2s. The combo requires any Link 2 that you can easily make, and I personally figured that making that Link 2 a Link 2 that can actually have value going second is probably the best way.
So it's just
It could be Yama.
yeah.
You could also make this a Yama with a small Unchained engine to like extend with it. That's an option, but it doesn't make your end board better, so it's typically not worth it.
Right. The only thing that I'm thinking is like in this deck, like it probably doesn't matter that much, but Yama just has better arrows than Cerberus, but it sounds like it doesn't really matter. It's just like a generic Link 2 that you're gonna summon.
Yeah, the arrows don't matter at all. Like you play Cerberus because it's one very easy to make Link 2, and it has value outside of that. Like it has value outside of being a combo tool, which is
Right.
really why you play it.
All right. So So we don't need to go over the side deck. The side deck. You change it depending on the format. So where do you think this deck like positions relative to other decks after Age of Overlord? Like, you know, given the new ban list, right? You're not having to deal with a Rise Heart, but you might have to deal with Shifter. Droll might or might not be around. Well, like what I guess what I'm asking is like, what does this deck lose hard to in terms of like hand traps or like interaction?
Okay, so like this deck hard loses to non-targeting negation on Archfiend, which can be circumvented by playing with Beatrice is like a fairy. Yeah, you can like make the extra deck in a way where you can play through one interaction. Your Coulter and Mirror Sword make you a bit more resilient, so you lose less to negation on Archfiend, which is really good. This deck still hard loses to the typical stuff Infernity loses to. Shifter usually is game over unless you have the Return of the Reaper. Draw will always end Infinity's turn. You cannot play through draw. You cannot negate, cannot play through it. It ends your turn.
Alright. And like
that's like the only deal.
That's fair. Alright, so do you have any closing thoughts on Infernity Illusion? Like this deck? Like is there anything you, other than obviously Lawn Chair and or Archfiend coming off the list, is there any cards that you're like considering playing? You kind of mentioned the Unchained package there.
There's a few ideas. You depending on the combo route, you can make Beatrice stick around. You can play stuff like Token Collector to win against Adventurer instantly. I don't consider Adventurer to be a deck that you need to be prepared for though. So you can be a much more relevant option would be to be playing the Necro World Banshee Zombie World package to handle Unchained a lot better.
That seems like it wouldn't be terrible.
Apart from that, the typical stuff, you kind of just remove the destroying removal and play evenly in the main. You play non-destructing removal because, let's face it, Unchained is the best deck in this upcoming format, even with Age of Overlord.
Yeah, so then, like, let's stepping away from Unchained, right? How do you feel like this deck matches up to the other best decks in the room right now, that being Purely and probably like Rescue Ace? Purely, I'm assuming, is like kind of difficult for this deck to deal with as well.
The issue with Purely for this deck particularly is that Purely is a very consistent deck. If we, like without Plump, like Plump is the one issue it has right now.
Right.
You only have one Delicious Memory, which does hurt the deck, but apart from that, the deck is insanely consistent.
Right.
And even though it doesn't have like oppressive interaction, you cannot break their exceed.
Right, yeah.
You can.
Yeah, there's not a lot of ways to get around it, yeah.
The only way you have to get rid of you can temporarily get rid of the threat by making Sealantis. Just banishing them, get rid of all their exceed material, but that's a temporary solution.
Yeah, I feel like the only like good way you have to out it is somehow chew through all their interaction and then make like access code, or make like a link monster and then double its attack with Dugaras if you manage to not go through Dugaras.
Dugaras is weird because for a lot of standard lines you do need it.
Right.
Because it just so the way you use Dugaras is you summon the Archfiend, you add Patriarch, you special Patriarch, you go Dugaras, bring back the Archfiend, so you now get to add Launcher, or if you haven't normal yet, you get to add the Necromancer, and you go into a link 2, which is why you need to server it, by the way. And then you can just like extend that way and like inch your way closer to the Link 4, because after you resolve the Atlantis, you cannot be. They like the Atlantis is the nail in the coffin that guarantees you the full combo.
Right. Alright, well, this looks like an interesting deck. I'm glad that the Arise Heart ban has essentially made it so that decks like this have a chance to play. Do I think it's necessarily good? I'm not sure. We'll let time tell. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!